Hello guys, Charles here, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be learning one of the most essential building blocks of music, the major scale, how to play it all over the neck. Now there are millions and millions of pieces of music written using the major scale, so the skills you learn in today's lesson you can apply pretty much universally. The main skill I'd like you to take from today's lesson is to try and move away from these vertical positions on the guitar and try and increase your freedom so that you can play horizontally all across the neck. In doing this, there are so many knock-on skills you're going to be learning, including note application, other scales and how they compare to the major scale. And because the major scale is such an important fundamental building block in Western music, we generally compare new theoretical concepts to this. So the better we know the major scale, the more easily and more readily we're going to be able to pick up on new theoretical skills. So the way we're going to get from playing vertically like this to horizontally is we're going to use three different styles of playing the major scale. Now each one of these styles I'm going to offer you the basic version and a variation. And what I'd recommend you do is you focus on each of these for at least a week or two until you feel really confident before moving on to the next one. Now, although this may take you a few weeks to get to grips with at first, you'll find very soon that you'll be able to run through this in a minute or two, and you can use this as a warm-up routine, or in fact, you can use this as linear vocabulary as well. Every exercise we're going to be playing today is going to be a linear exercise, which means one note after the other in order. However, in a future video, let me know down below if you'd like me to do a more intervallic study of the major scale. So the first way we need to be able to play our major scale is using the caged system framework. Now the caged system is simply using the chords C, A, G, E and D as an outline, a framework around which we need to build a scale. Now we're going to learn this in two ways. The first is we're going to do it in the open position, and secondly, the slightly more advanced variation on this first method is to transpose these positions across the neck, staying diatonic, which means one scale. So we start with caged starts on C. So we play our C chord at the bottom of the guitar here. And in each of these positions, we're going to play from the lowest possible note to the highest possible note. Now, something that's worth noticing is every string has three notes on it apart from the G string. Now, that's true for every single one of the 5 caged chords. When you get to the G string, you're only going to be playing 2 notes. Every other string, you're going to be playing 3. So let's start with the C position. Next up, we have our A position. So we're going to be playing now the A major scale in the open position. 3 notes per string, only 2 on the G string. Third chord, G in the word caged. So we're playing the G major scale in the open position. 3 notes per string, 2 on the G string. Fourth chord in caged is E. So we're playing E major in the open position. The fifth and final chord is D. So we're playing the D major scale, lowest note to highest note, 3 notes per string, 2 notes on the G string. So that's your first mission, is to make sure you can do those 5 scales in 5 different positions at the open end of the neck. Now, the way to vary this and to start to move horizontally across the neck is to play those same 5 positions but diatonically. Now what that means is we can take our C chord, our A chord, our G chord, our E chord, and our D chord, using all 5 of those chords to play a C chord. So we're now going to move through those 5 shapes exclusively playing the notes of the C major scale. And we've had to move the shapes across the guitar in order to do that. You'll notice, however, that the actual patterns we are playing are exactly the same as they were in the open position, 3 notes per string, 2 on the G string, but we're simply playing a different fretted note. The C major scale in the C position, we've already done it. The C major scale in the A position, which is here on the 3rd fret. The C major scale in the G position. That puts us in the 5th to 8th fret position, 3 notes per string, 2 on the G string. The C major scale using the E shape, which is here on the 8th fret. And finally, the C major scale using the D shape, which is here on the 10th position. Ensure you're really confident with those caged position concepts before you move on to the next exercise. Try to recognise how the open position shapes relate to the diatonic shapes. They are the same scale shape, but being moved around the neck to create different notes. The next way we need to be able to play our major scale is a strict 3 note per string pattern. Now the reason we want to use a 3 note per string pattern is because it starts to stretch the shape out and we start to move a little bit diagonally across the string. I'm going to start on the 5th fret for this example, and we're simply going to play 3 notes per string, sticking to the notes of our major scale. Now because I'm on the 5th fret, that's going to be A major in this instance. So first make sure that you can do that in one position. And then a really simple tweak you can do to start to move this across the entire neck is once you get to the top or the bottom of a shape, you simply slide up to the next note in the scale and descend in the new position, staying diatonic to the original scale you chose. In this instance, I'm playing in A major, so my top note is currently a D. I'm going to slide up to an E, which is the next note diatonically in the scale, and I'm going to descend 3 notes per string in that new position. When I get to the bottom, I'm going to slide up to the next diatonic note and ascend 3 notes per string in that new position. Looks like this. And I'm back where I started in terms of the shape up here. I'm on fret 17, which is an octave above fret 5. So try that, and what you're doing there is you're basically moving up and down through the modes of the major scale. Give it a go, make sure you can do the first 2 exercises before you move on to exercise number 3. Exercise number 3 is the one that for some reason we all like to put off, but do make this a part of your daily playing as soon as you can. Get the other variations out of the way first and move on to this. Like I say, before you know it, it'll become part of your regular warm-up. You'll know this inside and out. Now this is a 4-note per string scale. There's not really much to this. You start on the root and you build a major scale as you normally would until you get to the top and you change direction and come back down. Simple as that. So ensure you can play 4 notes per string, and the final variation here is to do some combination of 4 and 3 notes per string. Now the advantage of doing 4 and 3 notes is that gives us 7 notes, which means when we get to the 8th note, we're back to the root of the scale again. Now what that means for us as a guitarist is we can copy and paste every octave, we can play the same shape we played in the previous octave. Let's have a look at that. So that was 4-3. We're going to now try 3-4. This is a bit more of a stretch because on that second string it's all tones. You're going to probably find you get quite a bit of fret buzz because your finger accuracy is not quite there yet. I am really focusing on trying to get my finger in the most accurate part of the fret, but I certainly don't achieve that every single time either. So don't panic about it. Let's just get ourselves warmed up and do our very best. 3 then 4. So those are the 3 ways that you need to be able to play your major scale. Do give yourself enough time to get to grips with each one before you move on to the next one. Although of course you may be excited to have a go at all of them straight away. That's absolutely fine. But in terms of being disciplined with yourself and wanting to learn them all, make sure you start with the caged position, in the open position, then diatonically, then move on to 3 notes per string, and then the modes of the 3 note per string, and finally move on to 4 notes per string and hybrids of 4 and 3. Like I said in the introduction, if you're interested in a more intervallic approach, let me know down below, and that's certainly something I can have a think about and make a video for you. Let me also know any effective major scale methods that you've used yourself. I'd love to hear how you guys have got to grips with your major scale if you are already confident with it. And as always, I really appreciate your support, so if you can click that like button, the subscribe button, ding that notification bell and share with your friends, all of that goes a long way to helping me keep giving you all this free content. And I hope all of you are doing very well and you're managing to get as much practice done as possible at this strange time, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers!
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, you're drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out, and I heard you find it difficult to cope.